So you are following your strict spiritual practice. Maybe it's perfect diet you're following. Maybe it's that you're meditating a lot. You are doing your yoga or whatever you are doing that is kind of like something that you are valuing very highly, that you may be putting on a pedestal without even knowing it, but still found yourself reacting to worldly events. You are reacting to things that are going on in your life. You are reacting negatively, emotionally, to things that happens on a daily basis. If that is you, I think you will listen to this video, because a question I think you should ask yourself is actually what I asked myself when I noticed that I reacted to a lot of the stuff going on in my own life. I reacted to scenarios that I kind of like made up an expectation towards, and I find myself in very much of a situation of suffering and feeling very bad, talking down myself, and just having a very bad experience. So my question I started to ask was this kind of, how much has those practices really helped me regarding that? Because that is the most important thing. I think that should be the most important thing for everyone living. Because, I mean, who wants to live in a life where we suffer mentally from our own expectations, from the things that we are reacting to because we can't really control what's going on, we think. I mean, that should be the number one goal, to be happy, joyful, live the best we can do. And of course it's gonna happen things that we are obviously gonna have to handle. That's not something we can control. But this one, I'm talking more about things that are in our control. Because I noticed that my reactivity and all these kind of things that happened wasn't helped by neither of the things that I've been practicing. They didn't help me with shit, to be honest. Frankly, they didn't help me with handling a lot of these moments. So that's why I started questioning all these kind of concepts and ideas. Because at the end of the day, I think the most helpful thing we can do for our body, the most healthy thing we can do, is to have a mind that we can control, have a mind that is with proper thoughts, that we talk good about ourselves. There's so many people out there who talk negative to themselves. They have no idea how effective that is to the body. I mean, the body is reacting to every thought that we have, and that's proven by scientists. If you want that question out of the picture, that you don't believe it, but it is. And we know that water reacts to words. We know that reacts to sound. And we know definitely that reacts to bad sound or bad words, negative stuff. So we always have to take that into consideration. So that's what led me to starting this channel and to actually making this video now. That I really been having a lot of different awakenings the last couple of months now. It made me questioning all this kind of stuff, that what would be the most important thing for everyone here that lives. What I can come up with is that we want to seek happiness, we want to seek fulfillment, we want to seek joy. I think basically comes down to that. We want to be minoring down the suffering that we have in our lives. And we have to understand that most of the suffering that we have in our lives is created from ourselves, from our own mind, because of certain situations that we can't handle. So I noticed that I've acted very, very in a certain way, even though I've been doing these so-called spiritual practices. But at the end of the day, it comes down to that even if we find ourselves very emotionally in certain situations regarding stuff that's going on, we have some issues we have to work with there. And that's why I wanted to make this video, because I wanted to talk a little bit about it, that when we are building our life around concepts and ideas, what spirituality should be like, we are just creating new boxes in our lives. We are creating new ideas that we have to follow. We're creating new rules for the game, which means that if we don't follow these rules, we will not feel good. And we will not live up to this certain idea that some people have put there for us. But just because maybe those work for some people and it's their truth, doesn't mean it should be everyone's. Because everyone has a different journey and experience here. You can view it as someone sitting up in the mountains and meditating all day, eating a strict diet, never meeting anyone from the opposite sex, never doing anything pleasurable. You can view that as an experience, and that's fine. But it doesn't mean that everyone has to do it in order to be spiritual, because that's not what the point is here. The point is for you to live each moment here in the present moment, in the now. That's why it's the present word actually means in etymology pre-sense. It's prior to senses, prior to the mind putting up ideas and concepts. That's why we always have to look behind the meaning of each word. So I find myself in a lot of different situations recently where I really started questioning a lot of these things, which made me realize that I think spirituality is so much more simpler than we're led to believe. We think it should be so complicated, it should be so complex, and it should really be so more special than what it really is. And in the truth of the matter is that it's pretty simple. The meaning of life is very simple in its essence, but we always neglecting that, we always avoiding that, because I don't know if it's this idea that we have that we want things to be very complicated. We want things to be more advanced, more special than they really are, than what the meaning of life really should be like. So I had so much different awakenings the last months now, mainly because I've been hiring a mentor and having a very good conversations with him. He had really made me reevaluate my own thoughts and where I stand in a lot of different topics, and this is one of them, because I've been a victim to this very much. I still think that of course there are some things that we should never if we follow a certain, in some people it can be a very strict diet, let's say, but if we don't suffer from it, that's not a box. I'm eating most people say I eat very strict, but in my life that's what I want to eat. I don't suffer from not eating that, only that. So it comes down to us living in accordance with our own truth and what we think is the best for us, and that is different from everyone. But we are so used to that, just because we think we know certain things and we have come across certain information, we always think that we know more and better than everyone else, and I think that is a huge trap, and we think we should avoid it. And that's why in this video I talk about the spiritual concepts that we usually come across when entering this journey or path. And it's so easy to get swept away and just accepting everything, and accepting that we have to suffer, because that's what kind of like I thought from the beginning with spirituality, that you should suffer, but that's not the case. Of course you have to go inside, do your shadow work and inner work, but that's a process that's constantly happening all the time. And I think the part of like coming to this place to be free, you have to go through these certain ideas and stuff. At least I did. So that's why I can sit here now and talk about it, because I have gone through so crazy up and down emotional roller coaster up to this point. These kind of questions and thoughts, because I know a lot of people have them. A lot of people have it, but they don't know how to express it. They don't know how to talk about it. And that's why I wanted to open up a discussion about all these kind of things that all these kind of boxes that we're created, because we are led to believe that that's what spirituality is all about. If you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe, and share it to someone you know who might need to hear information like this. And for that, we talk soon. See you next one.